Welcome back, Cassia.
I am so excited to dive into this conversation, and I want to hear all the juicy details.
Yeah, I'm really excited to tell you about it. This was a really interesting one for me. I got to speak with the writer of the book, Pussypedia. Her name is Zoe Mendelson. She is a really interesting person. She's based in Mexico City, but actually from Chicago. So she's American-born, loves Mexico City, has built a life for herself there. And in 2019, started the website, Pussypedia.net, which is a bilingual, free, basically encyclopedia for people with pussies. We're trying to be gender neutral as much as possible because this is really important that not only women have vaginas. And there's reasons why we are using the word pussy versus vagina, which we go into in the conversation. But it was like such an interesting adventure as to why she started this, what was the impetus, what happened, what's involved in the whole thing.
So I got to be honest, Sabrina, when we started building our list of guests for season 2 and her name came up, and then we started assigning them are you going to interview him? I'm going to interview her. You got her, which is awesome. And I was like, damn.
Were you jealous?
Well, she's an information designer. So from the design perspective, I had this moment of jealousy of like, oh, wait a minute. I think this would be a really interesting conversation. And then dove into the research and hit the brakes because I have to tell you, I cannot stand the word pussy. I can't stand it. Like, it makes me cringe 100% of the time.
So this conversation is exactly for you.
Yeah,
Because not only do we break down the fact that we all need to get over our cringiness of the word pussy and take that word back from the likes of the Donald Trumps of the world, right? That word belongs to us. And that it should not be seen as crass or vulgar. Like, that is a social construct that we need to break down and reconstruct in our own way for our own purposes. But also that in the length of this conversation, we talk about all the cringeworthy things that happen to our bodies. We talk about our discharge and goopiness and the hair that grows in places we don't want to admit that it grows. This conversation is exactly for the likes of you, right? Because we need to admit that our bodies are these beautiful, complicated machines that do not have the perfect view of whatever society expects when we are all waxed and we're clean and we're smelling perfect and we're doing this and we there are no juices flowing, whatever. That's not reality. This is reality. This is like a full-blown real conversation. So what I love about Zoe is that she has no shame to talk about any of that. She really opens up her own personal life and experiences. One of the things that I really commended her on in the website, Pussypedia.net, and now the book, which is phenomenal. So the website is much more informative, and there are hundreds of collaborators who write in.
I mean, there's contributors from all over the world. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
They talk about all kinds of things that happen with our bodies, and this is really necessary because for so long, the medical science and the writings about people with pussies, it was very contradictory. There were a lot of things that were missing. It was always written by men. And so Zoe really brought together a community of people to be like, okay, what's really going on? And let's figure it out from the science of it, but also make it interesting and engaging. And then in the book, she really brought her own personal experiences and made it funny and witty. And I mentioned part of it is self-deprecating, which I kind of appreciate that she really opens up that side of her because I would be mortified, but it really hooked me.
Well, and it takes a very distinct personality to build this platform, to to kind of curate that community and all of that content in an accessible and approachable way, and in a way that doesn't turn off a generation of people who have been raised to not really talk about it and to not ask questions about it and to not know where to go for information. I mean, if she was going to tackle it, she needed to do it with so much personality and so much vulnerability and honesty. And it's very clear that she brought that to the table.
Yeah, she really did. I think she did a phenomenal job of it. So this is a really interesting conversation. It is meant to break down all of those initial knee-jerk reactions that we have that may be cringy or maybe kind of pushing away these things. This is all about the beauty and the joy and the celebration of our bodies. May it always be.
Excellent.
Take a listen.
Pussy, 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 pussy.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
Where in the world are you calling from?
I am in Mexico City where I live.
But you're not from Mexico City.
No, I'm from Chicago, but I've been here for 7 years.
Lovely. And from what I understand, Mexico City is a place that you have decided to make your home because it's such an incredible place and you love it so much.
I mean, I love it. I think it's also important to acknowledge that, like, you know, a lot of people who live here, including me, are also living here to take advantage of wealth disparity. You know, I left New York because I wanted more time to do my projects. And, you know, I was working a lot of, like, part-time crappy jobs in New York. And I'm able to live here and do a lot less of that. So I think it's important to acknowledge that, too.
Yeah. And you do have a pretty eclectic background in terms of your upbringing and also your work history. And you've worked in a lot of different industries, and you're a writer and an activist and have worked in government and had been hired and fired for restaurants and the whole slew of things. But what we're here to talk about today, which I'm very excited to jump right into, is Pussypedia. And I'm going to ask you to kind of describe it, starting with 2019 when you started Pussypedia.net. We're going to start with a little disclaimer because, yes, listener, we will be saying the word pussy many times in this conversation. And for some people, that word can land as a bit crass. But let's redefine that, because I think that's really a social construct. And we want to take that word back. We want to reposition it, not as vulgar or as crass as some people kind of can feel it is or define it as being. First, tell me how you started Pussypedia.net, and then we're going to talk about why you use the word pussy versus vagina or other words.
So we started Pussypedia.net because I was Googling whether or not all women can squirt, and I just was reading a lot of bullshit on the internet, and I got into some medical journal articles and started trying to read them, and it was really hard. And then I was learning some things that I was like, wait, well, how did I never know this? I really should have known this. Everyone should really know this. But it took so much work to sort of get there, and I was like, why is all of this really crucial information so hard to access? Why is all of this internet information such garbage and so contradictory? This is a problem. So I called Maria Conejo, my collaborator, who's an artist who works with representations of the female body, and just said, let's do some kind of vagina project. Because, well, initially I wanted to make a 3D model, a 3D interactive model, just because I was trying to learn about how squirting works, and I didn't understand where the bladder was in relation to the vagina, and I was trying to look at diagrams, but it was really hard to see a 3D spatial relationship from a 2D image. So initially we just wanted to make that interactive model that's on the site. That's sort of how it started, and we called it Pussypedia because the original name was Thinking Inside the Box, and it's cute and funny, but it was too long, and so I kind of just started calling it